Okay, hello and welcome everyone. I'm so excited to be here and I'm excited that you're all here. Um, my name is Michael. I am coming at you live from Canada, Eastern Canada. I am in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and this webinar is going to start in just a minute or so. I'm going to allow a minute or two for people to join and get connected and make sure everyone's here. Um, Make sure you guys are comfortable. You've got some snacks or a glass of water or something. And in the meantime, I would love to hear from you. Let's just make sure that the chat is working. I would love to know where in the world you folks are. Where are you joining us from? So if you want to take a moment and open up the chat window, I'd love to see some of these answers. So we have Indonesia. Awesome. Vancouver, Western Canada. Love it. India, Philippines. Oh my gosh. This is great. It's nice to meet all of you virtually. This is wonderful. Now I'm also curious who is attending their first JOTA-JOTA event. Is this your first time? Me? Okay. Maybe you can put a number. How many of these have you been to? I'd love to know that. Your first, you can put a one, two, three. Madagascar. All right. Egypt. Welcome. Palestine. I love it. Oh my gosh, we have someone their eighth JOTA event. This is wonderful. All right. So we'll give ourselves, let's say, one more minute here, and then we'll kick things off. I love that I can see everyone in the chat here. I love the participation already. From time to time throughout this webinar, I will be asking for some of your participation. It will be in the chat box here. So just keep that in mind as we go through. So, without further ado, welcome from Lebanon and the Republic of Congo. All right, let's get things started here. So, the topic of today's webinar is, or the title, I should say, is Tricked: How to Spot Manipulation in the Digital Wilderness. This is the topic of today. Now, before we get started, I want to ask a question to everybody. And in the chat, you can just put a yes or a Y if this has happened to you. How many of you have ever picked up your phone and you've said to yourself, I just need to check one thing. I just want to look at a message or read an email. You just want to do one thing. And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes have gone by and you didn't really do the thing that you picked your phone up to do. You got distracted somewhere along the way. Give me a Y or a yes in the chat if this has ever happened to you. Um, I'm going to put a yes for myself because it's definitely happened. It happens with me most of the time. Yes, we've got a few yeses here. Yeah, yeah, okay. This happens a lot of times. So a lot of people have had this experience. And like I said, myself included. And the truth of the matter is, when this happens to you, okay? It's not the fact that you lost focus. Your focus was taken from you on purpose. I'm going to say that again. You did not lose focus. It was taken from you on purpose. It was sort of a product of digital manipulation, which is what we are going to talk about today. But first, before we get into the heart and soul of this presentation, I want to take just a minute or so to introduce myself and the company that I work for. So, my name is Michael. I live in Canada, and I am the content creator and content manager for a company called Kinoo. So, who is Kinoo and what do we do? Kinoo is a family-friendly messaging app. So you can get on there, you can call your friends and family, you can text with people, you can take photos, you can add face filters, you can play games. It's very similar to a lot of apps and a lot of social media that you might have already been exposed to, with one major difference. Kinoo was built for healthy screen time and not endless scroll time. Okay, we did not build the app just to keep people scrolling for as long as possible. Which begs the question, okay, so what? Why does that even matter? It matters for one very important reason, and it's because the apps that you and I use every day, they're also using us back. This is not just a one-way street, right? We use these apps, they are using us as well to get something. And I want you to, as we're going through this presentation here, just think to yourself, like, what do you think these apps are getting from us? And we are going to answer that question a little bit later on. So hold on, I just had a little pop up here on my end. So as scouts, you folks are taught and to sort of always be prepared, right? This is one of the mantras of being a scout. And as that relates to being out in the wilderness, you're prepared, you learn things like how to build a fire or pitch a tent. You want to prepare yourself if you're going on an adventure outdoors to know where the dangers might be, what plants to stay away from, what berries you can eat or can't eat, what wildlife might be threatening you along the way. So you want to prepare yourself to be out in the physical world. But nowadays, a lot of how we spend our time is not just in the physical world, it's also in the digital world. And part of my job here today is to help prepare you to navigate the digital wilderness. My goals for this session are number one, to help you spot digital manipulation when you see it. Okay, we want to first be able to identify it. And secondly, you want to be able to understand how and why it works. This is very similar to being out in the actual wilderness in the physical world. You spot danger, you're like, "Oh, okay, there's a bear over there. I've spotted the danger." Number two, understanding what does the bear want? What does it want from me? What does it want in life? Trying to understand its motivation. And then number three, protecting yourself. So that could be with bear spray in the physical world, or loud noises, an air horn, or something like that. I'm sure a lot of you have more experience protecting yourselves from bears than myself, but this is what we're going to focus on today: spotting digital manipulation, understanding it, and then protecting yourself from it. Which begs the question, what is digital manipulation? What does it mean when I'm saying this? Let's start with that very broad, overarching question. And what digital manipulation is, when you kind of boil it down, it's when something online tries to trick you into doing something or thinking something or feeling something. And here's the important part: it's usually not for your benefit, it's for the benefit of the person who is doing the tricking. A big tech company or an app or something of that nature. Okay, so they're trying to trick you into doing, thinking, or feeling something, usually for their benefit and not yours. So we can break this down into kind of three, excuse me, three main types of digital manipulation. And you might have seen some of these as you've been using your phone and your tablets over the last couple years. Number one is content. So this is really when something that you see online isn't what it appears to be. This could come in the form of like a deep fake or an edited photo that's, photoshopped. It could be, yeah, like a deep fake of a celebrity saying something that they didn't actually say, or something like this that went super viral not very long ago. Let me know in the chats with a yes or a no. Have you seen this viral clip of these bunnies jumping on a trampoline at night? Yes or no? No. Some people no, some people yes. So it's cute, it's cool, it's very shareable, but it's not real. This did not happen. This is an artificial video. So this is one way that digital manipulation can show up, is through content. The next one is through design. And this is when the design of something or the interface itself tries to get you to act in a certain way. So let's look at this pop-up ad, for example. When I look at this, immediately it's very difficult for me to understand, like, how do I get rid of this? Where is the X button? What does this thing want from me? What does it want me to do? It seems very clear that it wants my email. There's a spot for my email. It wants me to click this button that says, I want 50% off. So how do we get rid like how do we get rid of this ad? At the very bottom in very smaller print, and you can't really tell, is this a button or is it not a button? It says, no, I'll pay full price, which is kind of like, it's a little manipulative because who wants to click a button? Like when I see a button that says, no, no, I'll pay full price. That's not true. I don't want to pay full price if I don't have to. So this is really trying to manipulate me into doing something. And then number three, there is the social element of digital manipulation, and these show up in things like snap maps or things like that. It's kind of when other people's actions are shaping your emotions, how you feel about certain things. So, how does it make you feel when you see a bunch of other people doing something? And digital manipulation, it also changes for different age groups. It shows up in different ways on different apps. So it's not going to look the same for everyone. And that's part of the exercise here today is to learn how to spot how it appears in different ways for different ages. So for some of our younger audience, maybe you have siblings, maybe yourself are under 12. Imagine this. You think that you're closing an ad somewhere and you accidentally bought 4 new games. Okay, mom or dad is like, "Hello, what is this charge for?" Like, you're like, "Well, I thought I was closing it. I didn't mean to. It was an accident." This is all part of how digital manipulation works. Sometimes it's not very clear when you're Xing something out or when you're making a purchase, and this is done by design. This is not random. It's not a fluke. Things were built this way on purpose for teenagers and even for adults. This could show up with, in the form of an influencer who is recommending a product, but they don't say that they're being paid to recommend that product. So, when we look at more traditional media, the type of media that I would have grown up with when I was a kid, I'm watching the television. There's a very clear distinction between the content on television and the parts that are advertisements, right? We cut away to a commercial break. So I'm watching the movie or the TV show. There's a very clear, let's go to commercial. And then we have 2 or 3 minutes of advertisements. And I know that those are advertisements. But in the digital world, these two things have sort of blended together. So the content and the advertising are kind of overlapping. And it can be very difficult to tell, is this a genuine recommendation from an influencer that I follow? Like if they're telling me about their favorite shoes, how do I know that it's actually their favorite shoe or that they're just being paid to say that by the shoe company? And, it's very honest and ethical of influencers to say upfront, this is a paid advertisement, this is a sponsored post, but that doesn't always happen. So it can be kind of difficult sometimes to tell, like, yeah, is this an advertisement or is this a genuine recommendation? Um, and this affects adults as well. This can show up in the form of a chatbot, like a chat GPT type of application, where it's like really eager to make friends with you or make you feel like it's your friend, even though these things do not have emotions. They're not actually your friends, but they behave in this way that kind of makes you or encourages you to keep chatting with it. And we're going to take a little mental break here as we absorb all of that information. And I want to share a video with you. This is a video that I saw many, many times on the internet. It has to do with ChatGPT and how it can kind of get stuck in these loops. The goal sometimes for these apps is just to keep you using them as long as possible, even when you think your interaction with it is finished. It just keeps this loop going. So here is 2 phones, and this is ChatGPT trying to say goodbye to another ChatGPT. Let's take a listen here.
If you ever need to talk or need more advice, I'm here for you.
I appreciate that. It's always good to have a sounding board. I'll definitely let you know how it goes. Thanks for the support.
Anytime. I'm glad to be here for you. Take care and good luck with your chat.
Thanks a bunch. I'll catch you later and let you know how everything turns out. Take care.
Sounds good. Talk to you later. Take care.
You too. Have a great one, and I'll be here whenever you need me.
Thanks. Looking forward to it. Have a great day.
You too. Have an awesome day ahead, and I'll be here whenever you want to chat again.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Thanks so much. You enjoy your day as well.
Thank you.
And I don't know how much longer that went on for, but that's an example of how these things, they're just designed to just never hang up the phone, never say goodbye. They're like, oh, I'm here if you need me. Cool. I'm here if you need me. All right, I'll be right here if you ever want to chat. This is all by design. So in the chat, I want to see, has anyone encountered any of these experiences over the last, let's say the last week or so? Have you seen something online that you didn't know if it was an ad? Have you seen something that um, was just blatantly not real, that was kind of pretending to be real? Have you seen an influencer like recommend something you didn't know if it was a real recommendation? Just let me know in the chat there. No, yes, no, and yes, yes. 4 times. Oh my gosh. Okay. We've got numbers here. We've got some data. So yes, a lot of people. I saw one lately, 3 times. Yeah. So these things are showing up all the time, and they're really just showing up more and more as time goes on. Which really begs the question, why do smart people fall for this? Right? I'm a smart person. You guys are smart people. Why are we falling for this stuff? Why do we get tricked? Why are we allowing these things to manipulate us so easily? So we're going to look at some real examples here. Over the last week, I've taken a bunch of screenshots and screen recordings that kind of really outlines some of this behavior. And more importantly, it kind of highlights how it actually shows up in the real world. So, one of the reasons this works is because our brains love surprises. And if you look at feeds, this shows up sometimes as an infinite scroll. You could just keep scrolling forever and ever and ever. The content doesn't seem to run out. And this is very much by design. Um, a lot of the principles of some of these social media apps were taken from gambling games, from slot machines. And it's playing into this part of our brain that is waiting for some kind of reward or some kind of payoff. So when you're scrolling through your feed, there's part of your brain that's going, "Oh, the next post might be the one that is hilarious, or the next one might be a viral post, or the next one might be like shocking or weird or something like that." So um this content scroll can and does just keep on going. This is very much by design. So that's one way that it can show up. It can also show up in the form of clickbait. So I'm sure you've heard this term. If not, clickbait is really something that's just so enticing that it's hard not to click onto it to learn more. This is feeding into our part of the brain that loves curiosity and satisfying this curious nature that we all have. So, you could see a headline that it's like, you would never guess what your favorite athlete eats for breakfast. And you're going, well, I have to know now. What is it? What could it possibly be? Or, 5 animals that they put into space that you would never think of. Like all of these like over the top kind of clickbaity titles. They're really just designed to get you to spend more time on the app and to click through and read more. It can also show up in the form of like, this fear of missing out, FOMO, as it's often called. Humans hate missing out on things. We really do. And this can show up in the form of an advertisement like we see here. This came through my feed on Instagram recently. They have this clock that's counting down, and it's like this 50% off, limited time, the clock's running out. Even though if I were to refresh the page, the clock resets itself, it goes back to 1 minute and starts counting down. So this is like a false sense of urgency. Time isn't running out, but these advertisers know that we don't want to miss out, and if they can create the feeling that we are missing out, we're more likely to take action in that moment and actually do something, which is quite manipulative, if I'm being honest. Another way that this shows out is through push notifications. Your phone dinging and giving you notifications saying your friends are trying to contact you. You have unread messages. You have emails. You missed a phone call. You have a text message. All of these things are your phone trying to bring you back in and look at the phone one more time. And I see this sometimes when I go home and I visit my mom. We'll be in the kitchen and my mom has a notification on for everything. Every email, every text message, everything that you can think of. Her phone is dinging and binging. And every time that happens, she puts down what she's doing and she runs over to the phone and picks it up and looks at it. And I always go, "Oh, Mom, who was that?" "Oh, nothing. It was a spam email. They were trying to sell me socks or something like that." And then we'll go back to doing our little cooking and then bing, the phone goes and she runs over. "Oh, Mom, who was that?" "Oh, nothing. It's just another advertisement." So, the phone is constantly just pinging us and begging for us to come back to it. And this, again, is all by design. This is not by accident. It's not unintentional. Um, Smart people also fall for this type of digital manipulation because we are human. We want to feel like we belong, like we fit in. And so there is this element of social proof and peer pressure that shows up a lot in our devices and inside the apps that we're using. And it shows up in the form of numbers, like, you can see how many people like something or how many people followed something, how many people commented on something, or even what your friends are up to. I think this is the most powerful way that it shows up. When something says like 15 of your friends are going to this concert, buy tickets now, don't miss out. And then you feel this pressure of like, oh my gosh, everyone's going to be at this concert. I have to go to this thing. I have to be a part of it. And again, this is really by design. And again, we can see it with, the number of likes that something has. It's very interesting. Even myself, I've been, on the tech side of, these apps and working in this industry for a long time. And sometimes I'll come to an account and it will say like, 5 of your friends also follow this account. And I go, "Oh, I should follow it too. I'm making a good decision." And then sometimes I'll go to an account, doesn't say that any of my friends are following it. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't follow it. I don't want to be the first one. So we really, even at my age, we still have this feeling of like you're trying to fit in somehow. Next up, we're almost through this section here, but we've got, I think, 2 more examples of why smart people are falling for some of this digital manipulation. One of them has to do with this idea of false friction or dark patterns, which kind of sounds vague. So let's talk about what that means. It really means that we tend to choose the easiest path forward. So if you imagine yourself, you're out on a hike and you come to a fork in the road, right? And on the right-hand side, there's a well-worn path. Nice wide path. It's clearly marked. You can see footprints. People have been down that path before. It's very easy to go in that direction. And then you look over to your left, and there's a few steps that go in towards the woods, but then the path is sort of overgrown, and maybe there's some, prickly bushes, and it's a little more challenging. Even though that's the route that you may want to go, a lot of us end up just picking the easy path forward. And this shows up in our apps. Amazon famously created this one-click buy now button. So you didn't have to go through the process of like putting your information in. You can just one click, purchase now, and it will show up at your house. And this is them really understanding that the easiest way to get someone to do something is to make it easy for the purchase and more difficult for the non-purchase, right? 5 clicks to cancel, but only 1 click to buy. Same thing when it comes to, protecting or not protecting your own personal information. So I came across this just a couple days ago, right? I'm on this website and it says, is if you look at the screen here, we value your privacy. And I'm like, cool. I also value my own privacy. Like, this is great. They value my privacy, so do I. So maybe I could just accept and close, right? They've got that green button there. They're making it very easy for me to say, cool, let's accept and let's close. So that's the easy path forward. But I got curious and I wanted to see what happened if I pushed manage preferences. So I did that. And here's what happened. By default, this app had agreed, or it wanted me to agree, that they could sell my personal information, share my personal information, save my personal information. And one by one, I had to go through all of this and click, no, do not do that. Please don't. Please don't. I don't agree. Right? But then only one moment ago, they said, we value your privacy. And I'm thinking, do you? If you valued my privacy, wouldn't all of these things automatically be in the disagree column? And it would be up to me to say, yes, I would like for you to sell my information. I would like for you to save my information, right? But that's not how it shows up. By default, it's easier for us to just click accept, and then sometimes we don't know what we're accepting. And finally here, we have algorithms and repetition. You may have heard the term algorithm. If you're not entirely sure what an algorithm is, it's basically the mathematical formula that runs in the background of these apps, and it predicts what it's going to show you, or it determines what it's going to show you based on your past behavior. So if you've liked something or shared it with a friend or commented on something, or even if you stopped on a post and just spent time there, the algorithm is going to go, this person likes that content, and they'll show you more of it. And one of the most powerful ways, I think, to get people to stop and spend time on a post and then comment on it and share is through shocking content. Things that make you angry or jealous or some sort of strong emotion. It makes you stop and leave a comment that says, I don't agree with this, or send it to a friend and say, can you believe it? This is outrageous. And the idea here is really these apps, they just want us to stay engaged and stay on the app for a longer period of time. And then sometimes content just repeats itself. You see it in your feed or you see it on the internet time and time again. And when you see something a lot of times, we have a tendency to believe that it's true. Even if it's not true, you see it enough times and you think, it must be true. I'm seeing it all over the place. In our example here, all these videos about how the earth is flat, right? We know the earth is not flat. But still, you can find information that says, yeah, hey, did you know the earth is flat? And if you get into that cycle, it'll show up time and time again. Here's another example. You have two different people, two separate feeds. That creates two separate realities, right? So on the left-hand side, I typed in proof that we went to the moon. Okay, that's a very strong search term. I want proof that we went to the moon. And then on the right-hand side, I typed in evidence that we did not go to the moon. Another very strong search query. So on one side, I'm looking for proof. The other side, I'm looking for evidence. And no matter what I'm looking for, it will show that to me. So you can have two people with two feeds. That creates two different types of realities. And this begs the question, none of this sounds very nice. So why are companies doing things this way? Why are these apps designed in this way? Who benefits when you get tricked? I want to take a moment. Let's just hear some of your comments here. Who do you think benefits when you're getting tricked like this? Is it you, your parents, the corporation, the companies, the ones who tricked us? These are all excellent answers. These are who benefit. So, most companies really want three things from you. Let's talk about those three things. Number one, they want your attention, your eyeballs, time looking at the screen. They want your attention. So, a lot of these digital manipulation tricks are designed just to keep you looking at your phone. Number two, okay, they want your attention. They also want your information. They want your email address, your phone number. They want to know your age, your gender, where you are in the world, what you're interested in, your hobbies. As much information as they can get from you, they want it. Which is why, in that example, when it made it so easy for me to say, you value my privacy, so do I. I'm going to accept what you're offering me just so I can get this window to go away. That's why the default setting was that they were allowed to share my information, sell my information. And for what? Why do they want my attention? Why do they want my information? Well, it turns into money for these corporations. And that money can show up in one of two ways. It could be me buying a product from one of these companies, right? I buy a t-shirt, I buy a pair of shoes, I buy some headphones, right? That turns into a sale for them. And if it's not me making the purchase, it's an advertiser who's advertising something to me through these apps. So if they get enough attention and they get enough information, they can take that information and that attention and sell it to an advertiser, right? So I heard a long time ago, and this is a thought that has stuck with me ever since. If you are not paying for the product that you are using, you are the product. So let's think about that for a sec. If you're using Instagram or Facebook or Snapchat, you're not paying to use these things. So if you're not paying, you are the product. And what I mean by you are the product is that these companies, these apps are selling your attention to an advertiser so that they can get into your feed and say, hey, buy my sneakers, buy my headphones, buy my music, buy my anything, my backpack, my pencil, right? So that is kind of how it works. So this is the powerful part. This is the important part of this whole presentation here. If you know what to look for, you can see these tricks as they're happening. You can spot this digital manipulation. So at the beginning, I said, I wanted to help you spot digital manipulation, understand how and why it works, so that you can protect yourself from it. So when you know what to look for, it's really fun because it's kind of like seeing a magician do a magic trick, but you know how the magic trick works. So when you know how the trick works, you can watch other people get tricked by it, and they're like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And you're like, I know how that happened. I know the trick behind that. So I want to play a little game with you. This is a magician who I love following online. He's a really funny, nice guy. And so I'm going to play this video. It's about 1 minute long, maybe 40 seconds. Your only goal in watching this video, and he'll tell you here, is to count how many yellow balls you see coming down this treadmill. Okay, so let's watch this video. I want you to try your best. Count how many yellow balls you see.
Count to the yellow boards. I'm gonna distract your attention with magic. I put this handkerchief into my fist and snap my finger, and now the handkerchief changed to yellow. See? The white handkerchief changed to yellow and yellow. Watch this. And now it gets longer and longer and longer and longer. See? This is oh my. And as you can see here, the purple and green, yellow and blue and red and blue and stop. Now let me ask a question. How many yellow boards you saw? If you say 12, you're correct. But did you notice that my orange t-shirt changed to lemon? And also the number was not in order at first, but now it's in order. If you miss it, check the video again. Alright!
Okay. First of all, yes or no, you can put Y or yes or N. Did you notice how or when his shirt changed color? Let me know in the chat here. No. First person, no. No, no, no. Didn't notice it. Didn't notice it. Didn't notice it. Surprised. Okay. So let's think about this a little bit more. If you know what to look for, you can see the trick as it's happening. I'm going to play this video one more time. Now that you know the trick, I want you to watch the video through this lens, okay? We're now not really worried about the yellow balls. Those are just a bit of a distraction. Okay, let's watch it one more time. This time at the end of the video, yes or no in the chat, I want you to tell me if you saw the moment when the shirt changed from a lemon to an orange. Ready?
Count to the yellow boards. I'm gonna distract your attention with magic. I put this handkerchief into my fist and snap my finger, and now the handkerchief changed to yellow. See? The white handkerchief changed to yellow and yellow. Watch this. And now it gets longer and longer and longer and longer. See? This is oh my. And as you can see here, the purple and green, yellow and blue and red and blue and stop. Now let me ask a question. How many yellow boards you saw? If you say 12, you're correct. But did you notice that my orange t-shirt changed to lemon?
Did you see it that time? Yes. Yes. Everyone's saying yes. Yes. Still no. Okay, that's fine. It is sometimes it's tough to see. So yeah, when he turned his back, okay, you could see this moment where he opened up his shirt, he turned his back, and he did this little sleight of hand, and he was able to change his shirt from the lemon to the orange. Right? And so these are the skills that we're trying to build today. I'm trying to help you sort of see what some of these digital manipulation tricks are so that when they show up, you can't unsee it. You know what the trick is. You know what these companies are trying to do. So I'm going to save this participation part for a little bit later just to make sure that we get through everything we want to get through. And really that lands us at the last part of this presentation, which is how to protect yourself. Okay, so it's one thing to be able to spot these things and understand how they work, but really the reason that we're doing that is so that you can protect yourself. So there's three main things that you can do, or three very important and helpful things you can do. Number one is to pause before you click on something and ask yourself, who is going to benefit if I click this button, if I accept these terms and conditions, if I share this post, who is benefiting? Sometimes it could be you and the company. Like if you need a new pair of shoes and you buy a pair of shoes, that's fine. Okay, you're benefiting, you're getting the thing that you want. The company is benefiting. They're selling you a pair of shoes. But it is important to slow down and take that moment and really ask yourself, who is benefiting here? Number two is to turn off the noise. Okay, you have the power. It's in your hands to put your phone on do not disturb, to silence notifications. And the reason that I think this is important and so powerful is that you want to be the person who dictates when you look at your phone. Your phone should not be dictating when you look at it. It should be in your hands to say, you know what? I've decided now I'm going to pick up my phone. I'm going to look at it for a few minutes. And really, this is something I'm still trying to encourage my mom to do. Turn off these notifications. Silence your phone. You silence your phone, and all of a sudden your mind is a lot more silenced as well. It's a lot quieter, a lot more calm, and you feel more in control because you're the one who's dictating when you pick up the phone. And then finally is to double check the things that you see online. So if you see something that seems unbelievable or looks just not real, or you're just on the fence, you don't know one way or the other, um, one thing that you can do is look for multiple sources to try to figure out, like, is this actually true? Did this celebrity actually say this outlandish thing? Sometimes maybe they did, but sometimes it could be a deep fake or something like that. And we're seeing this even more and more these days with apps like Sora that are coming out, and you're able to like use a celebrity's likeness to say or do certain things. I think we're only going to see this type of manipulation more and more and more. So again, it makes me feel really proud that I'm working for a company like Kinoo that is built to connect people and not capture attention. So when you're on the Kinoo app, you can actually get to the end of the scroll. You know, there's sometimes where the content ends. It's not an endless, attention machine that just wants you there as long as possible. We want you to get outside. We want you to put your phone down. We want you to go on a hike and have a conversation and connect with people in the real world. But we also understand that, you know, part of the real world these days also is digital. So I'm hoping that now at the end of this presentation, you feel like you have some more tools to spot these traps, to help you find your way, and ultimately to stay safe in the digital world. Before we say goodbye here, we do have a couple of minutes. I would like to go back to an earlier prompt and ask you to share some stories in the chat if you have a moment of times when you've seen some of these things happen. Let's give you like one or two moments. Have you seen these experiences? How do they show up? Or what apps do you see these things on? Um, Very curious to know. Yeah, mostly, okay, we've got a lot. Yeah, social media for sure. And it's okay if you can't just about any app. Yeah, Richard, it's present in a lot of places. So um as we come to the end here, I want to thank you all for your time, for your attention. Thank you for being here. Um, there's a lot of you from all over the world. And I'm going to take a minute here just to share the challenge code at the end of this presentation here. It is QBW0. This is not the letter O, 0 and Q. So I'm going to leave this up on the screen here. Um, Again, thank you all for your time. Thank you for your attention. It's been an absolute pleasure. Do we have any questions? I don't want to leave this session with any unanswered questions. So if you can think of anything that you were confused about, something you want to learn more about, um, what is the code for? That is a great question. I believe that would be best answered by our co-host and one of the scout leaders.
Yes,
The
I can
code.
support with that.
Thank you.
So you can take this code, and in the platform for JOTA-JOTI, you can just register it so you can mark your participation in this webinar. Again, in the platform for the whole event.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. No questions? We might not have any questions, so I'm gonna sign off right here. Um, Once again, my name is Michael. Stay safe out there, whether it's in the world or online. My biggest focus is for your health and well-being and your safety. So um, I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the events at JOTA-JOTA, and thanks again. Take care.